bit. Oh, toward me. Okay, that works.
Let's get this guy set up. Talk.
Quickly.
That's going to be on the YouTube video, but that's okay.
What?
That's on the YouTube
Oh,
video.
great.
But that's only me. That's me and you.
Here it goes. You guys are ready.
Ooh, we're live. Are you making your model face?
I'm not making it. I don't have a model face,
You
Mom.
absolutely
I
are.
don't. I'm not doing anything.
Okay, it is the Eve and Levi podcast. I know this is not Levi, but stick with me. The Eve and Levi podcast, episode 7. And we are turning Japanese. We are coming to you live from
The Hyatt Regency in Tokyo, Japan.
Kyoto.
Oh, yeah, Kyoto.
We're in Kyoto, Japan. We were in Tokyo, Japan. And we have a guest today. This is Luna,
Hi.
our daughter, and she is going to be telling you all about her favorite things in Japan. And Grandma Ann is watching. So
Awesome.
tell Grandma
Hi.
Ann hi. Hi, Carol. All right, Luna. So we have been in Japan for how long?
We've been in Japan for around 7-8 days, about a week.
7 or 8 days. It's very sad because Motoko is watching and she's going to be very sad that she's not here in Japan with us. And we've been here for a while. We have 6 days left. We're having an absolute blast. And we're going to kick it off by Luna telling us her favorite things that she has done so far in Japan. So 3 things. Tell us number 1.
Number 1 is this. In case you're wondering what this thing is, it is a squishy, which is a thing that's very popular for like middle schoolers in the U.S., but started out in Japan. And this is an eye bloom squishy from Moosh Squishies.
And it's just a toy, right?
Yeah.
Explain.
It's like a toy, kind of like a stuffed animal sort of thing, but you can like squish it and it rises. It's really cool.
This is from what I understand, this is like this is like the Mercedes of freaking squishies.
This really is. More of a Tesla, I feel like.
Oh, this is the Tesla squishies. Because-
Everybody wants that squishy. I mean, if you're 11.
And it's
You
what
pretty much
brand
have
is
to be
it?
11. It's an eye bloom squishy, and I got it at Moosh Squishies, which is like the best squishy store. So if you're in Japan and you're 11, which you're probably not, but if you are, go to Moosh.
Moosh, which is in what town?
It's in Tokyo, Japan. And I don't know what street it's on, but it's really cool, and you should go to it.
So just look it up. It's Moosh Squishy, which is Moosh. Miss Carol wants to know, is it like a stress ball?
It's sort of like a stress ball, but it's not like squish and then it like doesn't do anything. It rises up slowly. Here's it rising like this.
The slower it rises, the higher the quality of squishy.
And the higher the price.
So how much was that squishy?
This squishy was 2,500 yen, which is about $25, $30 with tax, but
Was it worth it?
it was definitely worth it. I really like it. I left it in a drawer, and then I realized that the drawer had like a place where the air could come in, and I was thinking like this squishy just can't be good. The air has to have like come in and dried it out, but this squishy doesn't really dry out, and I think that's really cool.
So eye bloom squishies are the best. Go to Moosh Squishy if you are in Toronto. All right, next favorite thing.
Toronto?
Oh, not Toronto. Tokyo. Tokyo.
confused.
Next favorite thing in Japan.
Next favorite thing is the beef. I don't even know. I think it's Wagyu beef. It's amazing. I love the beef here. Every kind of beef I've had. We went to the morning market, which is actually my 3rd favorite thing, and got these amazing beef sticks that were so good. The actual best beef I've ever had. Really good.
So it's interesting. It's kind of like champagne. So, you know, if you have champagne, it has to be from the Champagne region of France. But there's all kind of great bubbly wine from all over France. But if you get it from a different region, they can't call it champagne. Same thing with Kobe beef. So there's Kobe beef, right, in Kobe, in Japan. And then there's Wagyu. And then there's Hita. Hita beef is the sticks that we had.
Hita beef is the best.
I think Wagyu is better than Hita, but it's really
Hita's
close.
less fatty, and I like less fatty, more like leans.
I think it might have been the
beef.
cut, but y'all, the beef is like just like slicing just butter, except it's beef, and it's amazing, and we can't get enough steak. So it's been incredible. So what are you and I going to be doing in Tokyo in 2 days?
In 2 days, we are going back to Moose to buy a giant version of this. It is bigger than your head. It is like that. I'm really excited for this.
It's possible because Pop, her grandpa, told her that she had some extra money she could spend. So now we're going back to spend all the rest of her money on the squishies. Go ahead.
And then we're going to get creme brulee inside of crepe. And those are like some of the best things ever. So you're having creme brulee and a crepe, and those are both delicious. So you should.
And they put them together in Japan. It's very smart.
It really is. And also creme brulee crepe. And what's the other thing? Giant rainbow cotton candy that is bigger than my mom's hair.
Yes.
And that's crazy.
Yes, it's true. Rainbow cotton candy that is bigger than my hair. We're very excited about that. And we're going back to Moosh. We said that. And we're gonna try to find a place. Our friend Ali, who has been so sweet to show us all around Tokyo, is trying to find 2 things for us. One is trying to find us a place that we can do karaoke with a kid. So
yeah,
we're pretty pumped about that. So we're about to now have Levi come back on. And Luna, you have anything else that you want to add?
Go to Japan. Japan is great. I don't know.
All right. Okay,
Her third favorite thing.
she already did her 3rd favorite thing. The market was her 3rd favorite thing. All right, so Levi is getting dolled up to come on camera. So I'll keep talking. All right, you switch microphones with Levi. Thank you. You were an amazing guest. I can't believe you're taller than me now. But thank you for your report straight from Japan. Hi, Adam. How's it going? Hi, Kelly. So Levi is joining me now. It's the Eve, Levi, and Luna podcast, apparently, today. And
hi, y'all.
we're gonna talk about Levi's favorite things in Japan. And so
goodness.
we'll be honest, deep dark secrets of our marriage. We went on a trip in the van, and that trip was mostly for Levi because it was planned to be a 3-week trip cross country to Canada in the van. I ended up loving it. But I liked the nights we were in the hotel a lot too during that trip, and we did come home a bit early. And then this trip, 2 weeks in Japan, is definitely more for me. Levi definitely likes to be at home or in the van. And how's it going?
It's going pretty well.
Really?
Yeah, you picked out some great hotels for sure.
Okay, so let's hear Levi's top 3.
My top 3
from Japan.
Well,
they can be the same as Luna's. It's okay.
No, yeah, the squishies. No, I think my top 1 is going to be when we get back to Tokyo and I go to Electric City. So Electric City is the electronics district in Tokyo, and I am a gadget nerd, and I'm sure my goal is to find things in Tokyo that you can't find in the U.S. and maybe to buy 1 or 2 things that fit in my bag since the bag is already pretty full, and bring those back with me. But yeah, so that's one. I'm really excited about that. I have really enjoyed how punctual the Japanese people are.
He gets on the trains and he'll just watch his watch and be like, 7:56.
So Germans have this reputation for efficiency, right? For
yes.
being very they build fast cars and they build fast roads to drive the fast cars on. And in Japan they value that kind of efficiency. When the train says it's leaving at 10:57, it is not leaving sometime around 10:57. It's leaving at 10:57. I think my favorite train exchange was we were getting on the bullet train to go from Tokyo to, I don't remember what the stop was there.
Kanazawa?
Yes, Tokyo to Kanazawa.
No, Takayama.
Well, but the bullet train got off.
Anyway,
in Tomi.
Tell us the story.
In Tomi. So, and we had to make 3 changes of trains that day, and it was we were hustling because it was less than 10 minutes between each one. It was on the other side of the train station. But this bullet train that we got on first, which we're going to be on for 2 hours, and in the U.S., if you have a long train ride coming, the train pulls into the station 30 minutes before it's going to leave, and you might leave on time, you might leave 30 minutes later, This train, which is traveling the length of the country, pulls in 2 minutes before it's going to depart. And if you're not standing at the door ready to get on the train, you're not getting on the train. Like,
what is the shortest time we've had so far with like a train getting
to get
somewhere?
between?
Yeah. Well, no, like when a train arrives and then when it leaves. Hasn't it been like 2 minutes?
Oh, that's the longest.
Oh.
Yeah, like, well, that's not true. There's been some trains that sat for 5 minutes, but yeah, there have been trains that if you're in a large city that has a subway system, you know, the train pulls in, the doors open, it sits there for 30, 45 seconds, the doors close, and then the train moves on to the next station. But that's for a train in the city where people are like traveling 6 blocks. In Japan, it feels like that for all of the trains, even the ones that are cross country. So
you love the future tech, you love the timeliness, and what's your last favorite?
My third favorite
thing.
The beef's been good, I won't lie.
It's better than Texas.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Levi, you said that so emphatically.
I'm not from Texas. I live in Texas.
But you
I'm
live
not
there.
From Texas. So.
I'm sorry to all my Texas friends, but the beef in Japan is better.
It really
better.
is.
Agreed.
They I won't say they care about it more, but the way they raise it is different. Like you can tell. It's just different. They sing to it or something. It's pretty tasty stuff.
Hi, Katie. So those are Levi's favorite things. I'm going to talk about my favorite things.
Eve, what were your 3 favorite things about Japan?
What a nice segue. That was beautiful. Good morning, Morgie. So my favorite things about Japan are, number 1, we're in Kyoto, and I love the Hyatt Regency Kyoto. Mostly because it's the perfect size. It's big, and it has a variety of restaurants, but it's not so big that I get lost and confused as to where I am. And they just have things that you can't find anywhere else. So a lot of people are fascinated with geisha, which I definitely am. And you take trips to Japan and you just hope that you see one and you just spy one. And if you're really lucky, you even see a maiko. A maiko is a person training to be a geisha. And they are the ones who wear the white powdery makeup. A geisha wears less makeup that you can really tell the difference from. Because a lot of people wear kimono for a important event in their lives, so sometimes you can't really tell if you're a foreigner if that is a geisha or not. With a maiko, you can absolutely tell usually. And at the Hyatt Regency Kyoto, they actually have a maiko who comes here and performs every night. So Luna and I went a couple of nights ago. Maiko are trained in an instrument and conversation and in dance, and this maiko was 17 years old. She had been training for 2 years, and she did this dance to 2 songs that was just exquisite. Like, it was exquisite. Like, her kimono was gorgeous, and it was things I had seen in movies and on TV, but to see it in real life was incredible. And I can't think of a parallel with another country that has an icon like geisha or maiko that represent their traditions and their people, and I just found it really stunning. So these women are revered for their social interactions, their intelligence, their artistry, their beauty. And I found it incredibly intriguing and as a woman, really, really interesting. So that was definitely my favorite thing. My next favorite thing also at the Hyatt Regency Kyoto was last night, Luna and I went to the spa and we had a massage in a room together, and it was Luna's first massage because she's 11. You know, I told her this will probably happen again when she's 18 and graduates high school. So we had fancy jacuzzi baths before, and then we had a massage that was just phenomenal. The Japanese style was a little bit different, but it was a hot oil massage in the spa at the Hyatt Regency Kyoto. We were in the room together, and Luna just said that was like the best she had ever, basically her body had ever felt in her life. So that spa was incredible. Oh, my third favorite thing. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I am rocking a new accessory today, and that is a second eye. That's right, my eye is back. So right before we left for Japan, Holly, our dog, stuck her nail into my eyeball, which sucked a lot. I went to an optometrist in the U.S. I went to an optometrist in Japan. Thank you, Ali, for translating.
Ophthalmologist.
Optometrist, you're right. Sorry, ophthalmologist. I went to ophthalmologist in both cities. I couldn't see. I couldn't open both eyes because if I opened this eye, this one moved around. I had a massive corneal abrasion. I was on pain medicine.
By the way, corneal abrasion is a fun thing to say. Like, it's just, it looks funny when you write it. It's fun to say. So Just try that one on a casual conversation. Corneal. Have you ever had a corneal abrasion? Just give it a shot.
Lord, I had a 3.5, just to impress you, millimeter corneal abrasion. It was horrible. And so I had to keep this eye closed so this eye wouldn't move. So they basically led me around from the flight at the airport, and for the first couple of days, like a person who couldn't see because I would keep my eyes closed. And it was horrible. So my favorite thing about Japan is...
She was a sexy, sexy pirate. Just a lot of dar, dar.
Okay, yes, that happened. And after a week of like struggling with that, my eyes work. No makeup. Not that I usually wear makeup, but you know, I'll use that as an excuse today.
Sure.
So having my vision back is my
third
favorite thing about Japan.
So we, as Eve mentioned, we are at the Hyatt Regency in Kyoto, and they have been absolutely spectacular. In addition to having the Mako every night, which is really a very unique opportunity. A lot of people visit Japan and they jump through a lot of hoops just to try and have that experience, but they have been awesome hosts. We've had great hotels, and like everywhere we go, Eve picks out good hotels, not just in Japan, but everywhere we travel. But these guys are, I think, at the top of our list in terms of experience. So if you're traveling to Kyoto, which we highly recommend, we also highly recommend the Hyatt Regency. One of the things they offer is a free taxi ride from Kyoto Station, the train station, to the hotel.
Which happened in 30 seconds.
Not a shuttle bus, a taxi ride. So like the nicest cab we've been in. And by the way, we can talk about the cabs in Japan. They're all lovely. They're all regulated by the government, so there's no gouging. Tipping is not part of the culture in Japan, so you don't have to worry about that. One of the things I've been really surprised by is that it's an incredibly, as technologically advanced as they are, it's still a hugely cash-based culture. There are a lot of small stores that just don't take credit cards, and cash is absolutely acceptable everywhere. So people carry a lot of cash with them, which is perfectly safe. There's been no warnings and no trouble of any kind.
What happened when you were in the train station and pulled your phone out?
I was in the train station. I reached into my pocket to pull out our passes or something, and a 5,000 yen note, which is approximately $50, fell out of my pocket onto the floor of the train station. And the two people closest to me immediately let out a little yelp and rushed for it to hand it back to me.
Like they jumped at him. Sir, please stop. So sweet.
So it's been a great experience, and at the Hyatt Regency. So we got the cab ride from the train station to the hotel. The staff here is amazing. I was talking to one of the managers about the building, and because it looks very modern in a Mike Brady architecture kind of way. So I was asking, and the hotel was actually built in the 80s, and then Hyatt took it over in 2006, I believe. It's immaculate. It's beautiful. There's a wooden spiral staircase in the lobby that's absolutely amazing. And yeah, everything's been really excellent.
So if you're thinking about going to Japan, pack some cash or get some cash out of the ATM when you get here.
Travel tip, if you have an international debit card, as we do, the 7-Elevens have the ATM machines you can use. If you just walk into somewhere that says ATM and it's a local ATM, in quotes, local, your card from overseas won't work. But the 7-Elevens have the international ATMs. And they're in every train station and in a lot of neighborhoods.
Another travel tip, when they give you a choice in Japan with your credit card, they will say, would you like to pay in Japanese yen or US dollars? A lot of people feel more comfortable because they can see the amount with the US dollars, but you always want to choose Japanese yen because when you choose US dollars, they actually are charging you a fee to do that conversion. So always choose Japanese yen. I want to talk a little bit more about Japan, and then actually at the end, after we finish our last topic, I'm going to invite Luna back to talk about ramen, because we did forget to talk about ramen. And ramen is very serious, and perhaps one of the biggest reasons that our child wanted to come to Japan. Very important.
So let's talk some more about Japan. What else have we done while we're here?
Well, I think it's interesting that people wear uniforms. Like, everywhere you go, we went to the ophthalmologist, they had uniforms on. We went to sushi on a conveyor belt, they had uniforms on. Everyone has uniforms everywhere, and it's uniforms that it looks like you would have in the U.S. in the 1950s.
Watch Mad Men.
Yeah.
Like, it really, it feels very, we would call it vintage, but it's not to sound too hipster, it's unironic here.
Yeah.
Like that's the uniform. So at the sushi restaurant we went to, the sushi chefs are wearing the paper hats like you would see at a 1950s or 1960s soda fountain. The waitresses are wearing the skirts with aprons and their hair tied back in a bandana. But yeah, it's very and even like all of the school children have uniforms, and there's only 3 or 4 variants of that as well. It's a really interesting country. I've enjoyed it a lot. It's the emphasis on, I don't even know if I would call it manners, but the emphasis on personal interaction and respect between individuals, regardless of the situation, is really fascinating to watch.
You know, something I was thinking about is our trips to France. And I love France. Let me just say that. Love France. Gonna go back to France. Absolutely love it. But the typical response in French, Luna, how do you say it's not possible in French?
Ce n'est pas possible.
C'est not possible. That.
You want me to?
No, just say it louder.
Ce n'est pas possible.
So, so many things when you're in France and you ask, could we stay later? Could we have this with our dish? Could we change our menu to this? Because as Americans, we're so used to customizing everything the way that we want. The response in France, no matter what, is not possible. Is not possible. Is not possible. And then sometimes after they tell you it's not possible, if you ask again, they may make it possible, right? In Japan, they thank you for everything you ask. Do you notice that?
Yeah.
Like, oh, thank you for asking this. And they do everything they can to make it possible. So I noticed that difference. And I agree with you, the manners are amazing.
And it's interesting, too. One of the things I'm fascinated by is the English translations you see on signs and things here. The English seems so stilted and so broken. Even in a translation, you would think, well, couldn't they run that through Google Translate and come out with a sentence that sounds like the way an American or a British person would say it? But I think one of the things I'm fascinated by, and when you hear someone whose first language is Japanese speaking English, the verbal spaces in between things where they say, oh, thank you, and then they answer the question. It just, to me, it shows that that's how their thought pattern goes when they're speaking in Japanese, that it's just part of the language. Like we would say or put in something, stuttering the word or to fill up space. The things that they put into the midst of their vocabulary as they're just speaking to you are polite. They're not just placeholders. They're actually there to let you know that they have great respect for you and they're so excited that you asked the question and gave them the opportunity to answer it.
So, hi Rob, hi Fran. I am a huge fan of travel. As Americans, we travel so much less than a lot of the rest of the world who has income that they can use. Go somewhere and learn about another state, another city, another country, another continent. It makes you appreciate things in your own country that they don't have. It makes you question things that you're doing that maybe you could do in a different way. One of the things that Luna really noticed is that the clothes in Japan, for the most part, are gray, white, and black. Gray, white, and black, very monotone, or uniforms.
Except for the kimono.
Except for the kimono, which are just stunning and amazing to look at.
But daily wear for most folks in everywhere we've been. We've been in Tokyo, which is obviously a massive city. I think our friend Ali was telling us the metro population there is 40 million. Like, it's just an enormous place. All the way down to Takayama, which was a population of 90,000, which in Japan constitutes a pretty rustic, small town. Like, it took us a while and a few modes of transportation to get there. But everywhere we went, the clothes got more casual as we got further away from the city, but it's all very, very toned down in terms of color and style. And
as a person who likes to wear bright, garish colors and tight dresses.
Garish?
Yes. Did you like that?
Yeah, that was good.
I mean, I like to wear tight clothing. There is not much of that here. The other thing we were talking about with Luna, and look, we're not educated on Japan. These are our observations from a week and a half of not knowing anything. But what struck us, and what we were talking about with Luna, she asked a lot of questions, is I feel like in the U.S. we try, or at least Levi doesn't, but I try to stand out. I try to be my own individual, my own person. I want to work in a team and collaborate and move something forward. But to me, my impression of Japanese people is more of a unit, more of putting the group ahead of the individual.
And that
You
might
agree?
be, yeah, that might be family, that might be company, that might be nation. There is a much greater sense of being part of something larger than yourself, not in a spiritual sense, but in a community and municipal sense.
Yeah.
Right? Like you are part of the country, and your success is the success of the country, but the success of the country is also yours.
It's really interesting and really moving, actually. And I'm not saying one is better than the other, but it's interesting to see how other countries live and how they relate to each other. So
The other thing that really jumped out at me, and once I pointed it out to Eve, I think she noticed it as well, is the elderly population here.
oh my gosh.
They are, I think it's fair to say that the Japanese culture physically is healthier than the American culture.
Well,
They
yesterday-
age better. We have a friend in downtown Carrollton who is in her 70s.
I don't know.
almost
Let's
her
not say
80s.
her name
No,
because I don't
but-
want to guess how
but
old she is.
She's in her 70s, getting closer to 80 than to 70. And she still runs her business every day. And she's sort of remarkable in the sense that you don't see a lot of women that age being that active. Here, they're everywhere.
She's fit. I mean, she's fit. She's
yeah.
active. She's thoughtful.
Here, they are.
Everywhere.
Those women are riding their bikes through traffic. I was at the laundromat a couple days ago getting our clothes cleaned up, and a couple of those ladies stopped by and dumped their took their laundry out of the bicycle basket and came in and dumped it in the washer and left and came back and put it in the dryer. Just the mobility and the I don't know if energy is the right word, but like the I'm still alive factor for people in their 70s, and I'm sure some of them were in their 80s.
I saw a guy yesterday that had to be like 500,000 years old. This guy was completely bent over with a cane, walking through the train station, determined as I don't know what. It may have been the oldest person I'd ever seen. It was incredible.
And out walking around
Incredible.
unescorted, just got his train pass out, and
Somebody who was definitely in their 90s yesterday dropped a bag in front of me, and as I bent down to pick it up for them, they bent down before I got there and picked it up. So a couple of things. Longest life expectancy in Japan, 86 for women, 80 for men. And the way that Japanese people eat is they just don't eat that much sugar. They just don't. They eat mostly meat, fish, vegetables, and they
Some
have
rice,
but it's not as much
Yeah.
rice as you think. Like, they get a bowl of rice that is very small. It's not this big giant bowl of rice that we would get as Americans. So they walk a lot. Mass transit in Japan is beautiful.
yeah, they don't walk recreationally a lot. They just walk from place to place. It's also been interesting because it's been close to 100 degrees here most of the days we've been here, which is unusual for this climate. But they also take much better care of their skin. Like, they clearly don't value a tan as a sign of health. So you will see lots of people with umbrellas, men and women, not for rain, but for sun. People wearing the big see-through sun visors. People wearing, if they have short sleeves on, they'll put on sleeves to go outside.
Yeah, I've never seen that
That come
before.
all the way down to cover half of their hands.
It's just like sleeves, removable sleeves that just come up to here.
sleeveys.
Sleeves. Hi, Liliana.
But
Hi,
they
Tammy.
They take great care of their skin. They eat well. They are very active. Just in the course of like moving around in their life.
There's not a lot of overweight people.
No.
No, at all. And so those are our thoughts in Japan. We'll talk about one more thing, and then Luna, we're going to ask you back to talk about a few more things. Levi and I started a company called EveMayor.com, and the bigger holding company is Eve and Levi LLC. And we just made our first
Holding company sounds so important.
Did you like
I
it?
that.
Yeah, it's really funny. It's like where we put the money. And so we've just made our full-time hire. Why don't you talk about our full-time
Sure.
hire?
So we picked up a couple of clients that allowed us and gave us the opportunity to add some staff, and we were super excited to be able to hire Bridget Hardy, who is someone that Eve had worked with at her previous position that was available. Bridget is awesome, and we were really super fortunate to hire her 2 days before we left for Japan. So she's been holding down the fort for the last couple of weeks with our clients and with our other projects, and she's been doing a fabulous job. Hi, Bridget. We hope you see this. And yeah, so Bridget has been awesome. She has relieved me of a lot of the things that I am terrible at, that Eve needed help with. She is a perfect complement to Eve's creative genius. She is a creative genius in her own right and way more organized than either of us. So we are very appreciative to have her on the team. She's handling the interns right now and just keeping everything moving forward in a most amazing way. We're so happy to have her on the team.
Yeah, so I think we told you a couple of months ago, okay, we've both left our jobs and we don't know what's going to happen. And
Moguls. Now we're moguls.
no, we don't have to look for jobs. It's really where we're at. We've had a fantastic
Tycoons.
time. No,
Scrooge McDuckin' it
don't
over
listen
here.
to Levi at all. We've been working with contractors. We have an incredible group of contractors, some amazing interns, and now we have a full-time, brilliant director of marketing, Bridget Hardy, who we are so thankful for. All right, I'm kicking you off the show.
Oh.
Luna, I'm bringing you back to
Bye,
close
everybody.
things up with some
Don't
really
go away. Don't go
important
away.
information on ramen and deer. Now, they don't go together, but we're going to talk about these two items. Let's put on your microphone, and we'll bring back the 11-year-old here to talk about ramen. Luna, why did you really come to Japan? Did you come to Japan with the intention of eating something specific? Hello, Denise. How are you?
Get this thing on.
Come here. Give me your thing. Give me your dress. Let go. Okay. Stop fixing your hair in the camera. All right.
Not.
Okay. Go ahead. What did you come to Japan to eat?
Ramen.
And did the ramen meet your expectations?
Even more than that.
The model face is amazing.
I know. Is she still doing the model face? Let me see if I can do it.
No, she was duck facing it.
Did you duck face
I
it?
did not
did.
do
I'm gonna go back and watch
Y'all
this.
comment if I duck face.
Yes,
because I
please
did not
comment
duck face.
If you were just watching and Luna did a duck face, let us know. We're gonna see. But anyway,
Here we go. Oh no, it's just
Hello, Denise. Tell us, did she do a duck face?
Did I do a duck face?
All right, so tell us about the ramen.
Okay, so about the ramen was amazing, and it's made with broth that was like cooked for like 18 million hours or something.
18 hours, yes.
18 hours, not 18 million. I just like to exaggerate.
Yes.
But it's super delicious.
What's in ramen? Like, what are the items that they place in the soup?
In the soup, obviously the broth, and then there's seaweed and delicious like eggs that are really well marinated and cooked and super awesome. And also, what else?
Pork belly, but I always get her
belly.
pork belly.
Eat the pork belly. And then the other thing is obviously noodles, because you can't have ramen without noodles.
True.
But ramen here is nothing like that little square thing that you boil. I forgot the brand of it. It's nothing like that. It's more like, if you've ever been to a place called Hakata Ramen, if you live in Dallas, or any kind of,
Don't touch your microphone.
sorry, it's really itchy.
Any kind of ramen restaurant?
Any kind of like real ramen restaurant, like a Japanese ramen restaurant, that's pretty much what it's like, but it's a little more salty, a little better. The noodles are way thinner than you think, and I feel like it's a bigger amount of ramen.
So you can get really great ramen for very cheap here, and it's everywhere. $7, $8. You can get a big bowl of ramen and a giant bowl of ramen for like $12. And you can also pick how hard you want your noodles to be. You can like have them really soft or really al dente or however you like them. So, Luna, we went to a magical, peaceful place yesterday in Nara, Deer Park. It's where deer, those beautiful creatures related to Bambi, are, and you can go up to them and feed them crackers and pet them and frolic with peaceful, wonderful deer.
Can I take a...
Luna, go ahead.
So, when I was reading my book about Japan, it's a graphic novel about Japan and what you should do there, and it was super awesome. And I was reading it, and it said that I should go to the deer park. And they said the deer can get a little ferocious, but I'm like, what are they gonna do? Like, they're so cute, they're beautiful, they're deer. Like,
Yes.
what can they do? Well, apparently, certain things. Well, let's get to the story about when we went to the deer park. So we went to the deer park. I bought they bought me some deer crackers to feed the deer. So the deer started like taking their horns and like, I don't even know what to describe.
Nudging you.
Like nudging you with their horns. And I'm like, oh, that's so cute. So I started feeding it to them. And one of them apparently was not getting enough deer crackers quick enough. So he bit me in the stomach.
that happened.
So now I have a giant, like, little bruise.
A giant little bruise?
A giant little bruise thing. That is from a deer.
Luna got bit by a deer yesterday. That's what happened. That was pretty exciting. It hurt, but it didn't bleed, and it's just a bruise on her tummy. It's very cute. But yes, you go and you feed the deer, and the deer like, feed me faster. Feed me faster. What's wrong with you? So then they bite you or buck you or run into you.
And there's literally a sign that says, they will knock you over. They will bite you.
Deer attack. So that's what happened at Deer Park. What? Yeah, say hi.
Hi!
Say their name.
Jean Descant. Thank you for watching.
So this is Luna's first podcast. Please post and let us know if we should have her back, or let us know if you don't want to watch Luna fix her hair and make her model face anymore. Let us know.
I don't have a model
You're
face.
literally doing this like it's a mirror. Okay, do we have any last words about Japan? Should people come to Japan?
You should come to Japan for sure. Eat the beef. Also, if you come to the Hyatt, you should definitely get the massage because that was amazing.
In Kyoto, for sure.
Kyoto. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Ali, our
go to
friend.
a temple, go to a shrine, go to those kind of things. They're super
those
fun.
kind of things.
Make sure to check the weather before you go on a tour. Otherwise, you might end up like we did. Toast. We were burnt. Really.
Yes.
And we were just like burning up outside. It was super hot. Check the
Everybody
weather
told us
before a
that,
tour.
though, you know.
Yeah, but we didn't believe them because it
We
wasn't hot
did
the other
believe
day.
them. You just couldn't skip school for 2 weeks. That was really the situation, right? Yeah. Are you making a model face right now? All right, we will be back.
Now I'm doing a duck face. But did
Oh,
I
no.
do a duck face before? Come
No
on.
one has answered.
No
so
one's answered?
Probably means yes. We hope that you have a fabulous night, because it's about to be night where you are. And let us know what you want us to talk more about. Levi and I will be back sometime next week after we get back to the U.S.
With big announcements about projects.
Big announcements about, big announcements about projects. You have any last words?
No, I think I'm good.
You're good. All right, goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.